Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, muscle testing. If you've ever wondered how this technique can be used to tap into the universal consciousness, or how you could use it to tap into your own inner wisdom, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Could a simple muscle test using nothing but our bodies connect us to universal consciousness? What if tapping into deeper truths was as simple as swaying our bodies with intention, or even flipping a coin? Let's uncover the secrets of muscle testing together. Today, we're going to cover several techniques that can help you access your inner knowing. We'll go through several methods, and I will give you step-by-step instructions so you can try them on your own. First of all, I understand this can be hard to believe. And let's be honest, muscle testing is often referred to as pseudoscience. People question, how can something so simple give such real answers? But what if the answers we're seeking, we already know the answers to? And the muscle testing is just a tool to help us access that information. Beyond the skepticism, there's a deeper truth. And many people experience life-changing insights through this practice. And if it really works, could unlock profound benefits for us. Being able to decipher truth from falsehood. Being able to decipher what's best for us at any given moment. So, how does it work and how do we use it? By testing our muscles' responses to statements, we can gain insight onto what is true and what is not. It's like having a direct line to your subconscious mind, the universal truths, and the universal fabric. How often do you have a situation where deep down you know something is true or not true, only to find out later on that you're 100% correct? It's what we call trusting our gut. What muscle testing does is it allows us to access this information in a way that we can prove repeatedly that muscle testing works. The classic version of muscle testing, introduced by Dr. David Hawkins, is a two-person technique. In this method, one person, who we'll call the subject, puts their arm straight out to the side or straight in front of them. The tester makes a statement while applying force and tries to gauge the response of the deltoid muscle. In this technique, if the deltoid muscle holds strong, then the statement was true. Dr. Hawkins used this technique in his research of consciousness, showing how our bodies, our physical reaction to statements or stimuli, provide insights on how the responses align with the universal truths. Kinesiology, while typically focused on biomechanics, takes on a deeper role in muscle testing by connecting physical responses to energetic and metaphysical truths. It allows us to discern alignment with universal consciousness through neuromuscular responses. In my previous work, I've talked about the concept of calibrations, introduced by Dr. Hawkins in the Map of Consciousness, and I've talked about how these calibrations correlate with specific levels of consciousness. How we come to the specific number, how we calibrate a level of consciousness, is done through muscle testing. For example, you might ask the universe, I calibrate over level 100. Do a muscle test. If you get an affirmative answer, it's true. And if you don't, then it's not true. You can keep going, asking the universe what your level of consciousness is until you get a failed response. So for example, if you got a positive response in I calibrate over the level 200, but you got a negative response in I calibrate over the level 300, then you may start back at 200, testing again, going up by tens until you can dial in your exact level of consciousness. Muscle testing seeks alignment with the ultimate truth, capital T truth. Muscle testing can also help us to make nuanced decision making for our health, for our spirituality, for our daily lives. And in today's day of misinformation, I think most people intuitively know that there are degrees of truth to everything. There are certain statements that we can make that are true, and there are other things that we can say that are more true. Science knows this better than anybody. There can be a theory today that is repeatable, it's measurable, and it's ultimately true. As time goes on, as our equipment of measurement becomes more sophisticated, new theories that seem to debunk old theories are also true. Let me give a more simple and specific example. Broccoli, while I don't think is argued by most people, is known to be good for you. Well, for a certain individual, on a certain day, a certain time, maybe such a food like broccoli that was high in folate is actually not what our body needs at a certain time. So while it's true that broccoli is healthy, it's not necessarily true that we need broccoli. Muscle testing allows us to explore this nuanced degrees of truth that is more than just a binary yes or no. We can test whether something calibrates over the level 200 or not. The level 200 is critically important because it is the threshold from truth to falsehood. Everything above the level 200 has a varying degree of truth. Everything below 200 has a varying degree of falsehood. This threshold represents the dividing line between constructive, life-affirming statements and destructive, ego-driven actions. Above 200, thoughts and actions resonate with universal truths, while below it, they often reflect fear and negativity. Now, go back and read last week's blog post where I talk about the great sages of our past, the spiritual leaders that we all follow today, and how each of them calibrated at level 1000, the level of ultimate reality, ultimate big, beautiful, capital T truth. Okay, with this foundational understanding of muscle testing, let's take a deeper look and explore how it's done. Let's talk more in detail about how you can perform a two-person muscle test. This method is simple and effective. 1. Set your intention. Before starting, you and your partner should have a clear mind, and you should take a moment to center yourself. 2. Positioning. The subject's arm should be straight out to the side or straight in front, and they should be steady but relaxed. 3. The test. With a question or a statement in mind, the tester uses 2 fingers to apply pressure to the wrist or forearm of the subject. The tester will gently apply pressure while the subject tries to resist. 4. Ask a question, make a statement. The tester, with clear mind, will make a statement. It doesn't have to be verbally said out loud. The universal consciousness will still give you an answer. 5. Observe the response. If the subject's arm stays strong, the answer is affirmative or yes. If the subject's arm goes weak, then the answer is no. Remember, the key to this practice is mutual focus and mutual trust. Both parties need to remain open and neutral about the results. And it's not about using force. It's about allowing the body to tell us the answers that we seek. The sway test. This method involves a swaying motion to tap into the body's natural response. Here are the steps. Stand upright in a quiet space with your feet shoulder width apart. Focus on your body's response. A forward sway indicates a yes or alignment, while a backward sway indicates a no or misalignment. Personally, I use this test only for supplements and nutrition. I will take a supplement, such as a vitamin, I will hold it against my heart, and I will perform a sway test. A forward motion tells me that my body needs this supplement, and a backwards motion tells me that I don't, not today. The finger method. This method uses the strength of your fingers to test alignment with a question or statement. Here are the steps. 1. Form an O shape with the thumb and index finger of one hand. Place your thumb and index finger of your other hand through the O and try to break the loop with a firm pull. 3. Make your statement while applying consistent pressure. If the loop stays strong, it's a yes. If it breaks easily, it is a no. Both techniques rely on subtle responses from the body and can be used in quick and easy ways. As with all muscle testing techniques, it's important to approach these with a calm, open, easy mind. Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. Here's my own personal technique. Muscle testing isn't just about your muscles. While in the classic muscle testing techniques, we're actually using the response for muscles, I think that there's another way. I think it's more about your mind. I think your mind and your level of consciousness ultimately have the most to do with your results of muscle testing. The first principle of Hermetic law states that mind is all. Hermeticism is a philosophical and spiritual tradition that emphasizes the interconnectedness of everything, the power of the mind, and the universal laws that govern existence. While we will explore Hermeticism in future articles of my work, my personal method of tapping into the universal consciousness has a lot to do with it. My personal method involves a simple coin. Specifically, I use The Obstacle is the Way coin by Ryan Holiday, Stoic and best-selling author. Here's how it works. There's nothing inherently special about the coin, but the act of flipping the coin surrenders to the universal consciousness. My method is pretty simple. Heads is affirmative, tails is a negative. But by intuitively and instinctively knowing all environmental factors all at once, we can flip the coin and get the response that we really need. The environmental conditions, such as the force of the flip, the weight of the coin, and other environmental factors, are already known to us. We're tapping into the deepest parts of our subconscious, where the outcome is already known. And again, the most important factor in all these tests is you, your state of mind. Think about it this way. If your mind is cluttered or uneasy, tapping into any sort of frequency is like turning on a radio and getting static. When your mind is clear, your ability to access universal consciousness is so much stronger. What we're really talking about with muscle testing is tapping into something much greater than ourselves. And our mind state, whether it's calm, collected, or if it's fearful and judgmental, can have significant impacts on the results, just like those states of mind have significant impact on our lives. In this week's Patreon post, I share tips how to center your mind before a muscle test, and I also give step-by-step instructions on my own personal coin flipping method. You can find the link to that article in the description below. So if you're curious about trying muscle testing yourself, here's what I would recommend. First, take time to steady your mind. This can be through breath work, meditation, or even stillness. Second, choose the method that resonates most with you. It can be a coin, some other object, muscle test, the sway test. Just make sure that you're comfortable with whatever test that you're performing. And finally, practice. The more you practice muscle testing, the more comfortable you'll be tapping in and out of the universal consciousness, and the more comfortable you'll be trusting your own inner wisdom. So what do you think? Have you tried muscle testing? Are you curious to give it a shot? What kinds of questions would you ask during muscle testing? Are you curious in calibrating your own consciousness? Or maybe a specific supplement or food isn't right for you? Or maybe you just want to know, is this decision in my highest good? For those, you already know the answers to. So share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with one person. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you hopefully soon.